In Chapter 3, Lesson 4, we're going to work on multiplying two scientific notation problems together. In your first example here, we have a multiplication problem set up with two numbers that are in scientific notation. In order to do this, what we're going to do first is we're going to multiply the first two products in both scientific notation problems together. So we're going to take this 6.42 right here, and we're going to multiply it to the 1.166. So once you multiply those two numbers together, you're taking 6.42 and you're multiplying it by 1.166. When you multiply those two numbers together, you get an answer of 7.48572. And then whenever you multiply with scientific notation, you add the exponent. So we have 23 here, we have 2 here. We're going to add 23 plus 2, which gives me an answer of 25. So when I write this in scientific notation, it's going to be times 10 to the 25th. It's always times 10. Scientific notation always has to be times 10 to some power. So our exponent is where we add the two exponents together. So then now we have our answer in scientific notation. Sometimes when we multiply, we won't get an answer that's in scientific notation. For example, this first one, and these are not in your notes, so you might add these to the side. So this isn't in scientific notation because I have 2 digits to the left of the decimal. And as you recall, we can only have 1 digit. So what we're going to do is we have to move this digit 1 spot to the left. If you move it 1 to the left, you add 1 to your exponent. So that's where the left add, the LA, comes from, the left add. You move it to the left, you add 1 to the exponent. So now scientific notation would be 1.2456 times 10, not to the 8th, but to the 9th, because you add 1 to what you already had. Or if you have a problem like this one down here, the second example, it's not in scientific notation. I need to move this decimal 2 spots so that I can have 1 digit to the left of my decimal. And remember, that digit has to be something anywhere from 1 through 9. It can't be 0, and it can't be 10 because 10 would be a 2-digit number. So if I move it 2 spots to the right, right refers to subtracting. I subtract 2, and I subtract 2 because I moved my decimal 2 spots. If I moved it 3 spots, I would subtract 3. If I moved it 4 spots, I would subtract 4, and so on. So then my scientific notation would be 10 to the 2nd power because 4 minus 2 gives me 2. So scientific notation would be 3.45 times 10 to the 2nd power. Let's go ahead and look at your next example, example 2. So you're going to start off by multiplying your first two products, so 5 and 2/10 times 3 and 9/10. When you multiply that, feel free to use a calculator. You should get an answer of 20 and 2,800, so 20.28. We add our two exponents together, so that's going to give me 10 to the 25th. I get 25 by adding 12 and 13 together. Now, this is not in scientific notation. I have to move it 1 spot to the left, and if we remember LA, you can think of this as Lars, left, you add. So we moved it 1 spot, so we're going to add 1 to our exponent. So we end up with an answer of 2.028 times 10 to the 26th power. Our next example, so we're going to start off by multiplying our two products together. 2.93 times 8.9 results in 26.077. We add our two exponents together, and 23 plus 5 is 28. But this needs to be in scientific notation, so it has to be times 10 to the 28th power. This is not scientific notation. I have to move my decimal 1 to the left, and as we follow Lars, left you add. So we need to add 1 because I moved my decimal 1 spot to the left. So my final answer would be 2.6077 times 10 to the 29th power. Example 4. same idea here. Multiply the two numbers together. So 1.34 times 2.9. You get an answer of 3.886. You're going to add your exponents together. So it's going to be times 10, and then 17 plus 4 gives me 21. Now, is this in scientific notation? Yes, it is, because I have one digit to the left of the decimal. I don't need to do anything further, so I have an answer. We don't even have to worry about LARS. All right, example 5. You're going to multiply 8.75 times 3.46. When you do that, you get 30.275. You add your exponents together, so it's going to be times 10 to the 24th power. Now we don't have something in scientific notation. I have to move this one spot to the left. So we have 3.0275. And because I moved it 1 to the left, I have to add 1 to my exponent. So it's going to be times 10 to the 25th power. All right, I would like for you to pause right now and try example 6 on your own, and then hit play again and see how you did. All right, as you multiply the two numbers together, this is what we should have gotten. And if this is all you did, ask yourself, is this problem in scientific notation? What's wrong with this right now? Well, you might notice that I need to move my decimal one spot to the left. If I move my decimal 1 to the left, I need to add 1 to my exponent. So make sure you follow that last step and you end up with a problem that is written in scientific notation instead of something that's not. So 35 plus 1 gives me an exponent of 36. So this is the correct final answer. Make sure that that's what you have. All right, our last problem. So a space shuttle orbits Earth at a speed of approximately 2.8 times 10 to the 4th kilometers per hour. The longest shuttle mission was about 4.2 times 10 to the 2nd hours long. Find the approximate distance that the shuttle traveled during its mission. So we have two scientific notation numbers. What we're going to do is we're going to multiply those two together. So you're going to start off by taking 2.8 and multiplying it by 4.2. That results in 11.76, and we need to add our two exponents together, so add the 4 and the 2, so it's going to be times 10 to the 6th. Not in scientific notation, so we need to move our decimal one spot to the left, and if we follow LARS, left we add. So we need to add 1 to our exponent, so it's going to be 10 to the 7th. And then we have 1.176. So now at this point, I'd like for you to check in with me, get your homework sheet for tonight, and then when you're finished with that sheet, again, have me check that before you move on.